There's nothing we can do.
Come back when you have more information.
She just ran away.
She just ran away.
She'll be back soon.
She'll be back soon. Sorry.
Sorry, we don't have any more leads.
There's nothing more we can do at this point.
There's nothing more we can do at this point.
There's nothing more we can do at this point.
These are just some of the excuses many families have heard from authorities across our city and country when it comes to getting answers as into what happened to their missing loved ones. So how do families get the help they need when a family member disappears? We'll share some insights in this final episode of The Invisible Ones, Voices of the Missing. But first, we say their names. Yasmin Acree, Zodia Rouse, Nicole Shalonda Johnson, Mercedes Crumpton, Brenda Coward, Elaine Boneta, Kelly Sarff, Mya Jones, Celeste Jackson, Terika Jones, Linda Greene, Latonya Keeler, and today's feature, Kierra Coles. It has been 3 years since 26-year-old Kierra Coles, a pregnant U.S. postal worker, left her Chatham apartment heading to work and vanished in broad daylight without a trace. Her family has gotten no answers, no leads, and in July 2020, the Chicago Police Department announced that they were suspending their investigation into her disappearance, leaving a distraught mother wondering what happened to her daughter. I asked Cole's mother, Karen Phillips, to introduce us to her daughter.
Kierra Coles is a very ambitious woman. Everything she set her mind to, she does it. She don't care how long it takes. If she say this is what she's gonna do, that's exactly what she's gonna do. So I know when she tell me, oh, I'm gonna do this, I know she gonna do it. I don't got to say I thought she was gonna do this, because I know she's gonna do it. She's just a very loving person and just spiritual, and she's just everything to me. I'm not going to stop till I find my daughter. You know, I will keep going. I don't care how long it takes. You know, I want my daughter brought home.
Phillips explains there hasn't been any new leads and that the Chicago police has never spoken with Josh Simmons, the father of Kierra Coles' unborn child, who was reportedly the last person seen with her daughter.
Josh was the last person to see my daughter. Josh was the person who brought her car back on her block. Now all of a sudden my daughter's missing. Y'all want to tell me that ain't nothing y'all can do about it? They have not talked to him yet. He have not came forward to say nothing. And then I can't understand that, because you a man that got custody of 2 of your children. Here my daughter was pregnant with your child, so just forget my daughter and she carrying your baby. Even if you said forget her, she still was carrying your child.
According to police, Cole's body has never been found, which is why Simmons, who was also a postal employee, has never been brought in for questioning. The handling of the investigation into Cole's case and the other 50 missing or murdered Black women and girls in Chicago is a glaring example of the disparity and the value proposition placed on Black and white life in America. Because Coles worked for the U.S. Postal Service, the case could have been pursued by the FBI. But outside of the $45,000 in reward money for information, the feds have not aggressively pursued the case. Phillips feels disheartened by her daughter's investigation and feels if not for the color of her skin, things would have gone a lot differently in Cole's case.
They always say it's not a race thing, but clearly we know it's a race thing, because if my daughter wasn't Black, she'd be found by now. Y'all put as much work into a Black girl as a white girl, then my daughter would have been found.
Because public opinion is mounting and programs like The Invisible Ones are drawing attention to the issue, public officials are slowly beginning to address the vanishing Black women and girls phenomenon. In September, Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart announced an investigative division devoted to old missing persons case. Also this year, Mayor Lori Lightfoot announced a plan to combat sex trafficking and those involved in running illegal sex rings. And more women are beginning to raise their voices on this issue, including young women. Meet Amara of the Black Girl Gone podcast. She began her podcast just 11 months ago and already has 39 episodes involving women in Chicago and across the United States, where some consider that vanishment is at an epidemic proportion.
The underrepresentation of people of color, of Black women, and their stories in these cases. And so when I was thinking about, kind of what I was going to do, I got this idea. And I was like, well, what if I decided to start this podcast and focus my stories on Black and brown women, since there's nobody that's doing it right now. And when I first started it, I really had no idea that anybody was ever going to listen to the show. It was really just something that I kind of felt passionate about.
In big urban centers like Chicago, finding our women and girls must begin at the grassroots level. There are numerous organizations that are doing great work locally to combat this problem. Good Kids Mad City, Her Chicago, Protect Black Girls, and Mothers Opposed to Violence Everywhere are just several examples of organizations on the front line of this issue. In our community, the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization, also known as COCO, has taken up the cause. Program assistant and youth organizer Tanisha Williams explains how they got involved in the fight to make a difference.
That credit goes to a young lady by the name of Zodia Rouse. At the time, she was about 13 years old, attending Fuller Elementary on the south side. She's now a sophomore in high school at Dye. Zodia came to Coco with her concern, being afraid to just walk a block and a half from her home to her school, just consistently hearing about the disappearance of young ladies and mothers. She felt like nothing was being done about it. So we got together with Zodia. We organized a We Walk for Her march. Every year, the young people who are dedicated to organizing around the issue take the streets of King Drive at 5 p.m. Rush hour traffic here in the city, 35th and King Drive to 51st, and we march for justice for those missing and unfound women.
We cannot forget the role that media plays in solving these cases. For instance, Lacey Peterson's Case Solved, Elizabeth Smart's Case Solved, the case of Natalie Holloway concluded, and Gabby Petito's case also concluded. All of these families received a level of closure thanks to the help of law enforcement, but more importantly, the media, who keeps the stories of missing white female victims front and center of America's conscience. The media not only humanizes them, but romanticizes their existence. Some get the top story in national newscasts or hour-long specials on 2020 or Dateline. Kierra Coles and others like her are often relegated to 30-second news briefs or sound bites, or you may find their story buried within a newspaper. Kierra Coles' mother believes her daughter's story should be more than a cautionary tale and describes what she misses the most about Kierra.
I just miss my child. I miss talking to her. I miss arguing with her. I miss the little times when she fake like she mad at me. I miss the times that she called and want me to cook something special for her. I miss the times that she just come over and get in my bed when she's sick, calling me saying, no, she don't feel good. Could I go get this for her? Could I do that for her? I just miss my child altogether. All her flaws and everything.
Kierra Coles. We've said their names, along with 46 others, because to us, their lives mattered. They were mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts, cousins, and grandmothers. Each had talents and the love of family and friends. They deserved more than what society has given them. They are the invisible ones, whose names we wanted you to know and voices we wanted you to hear. I'm Candace McCollum. We hope you have enjoyed The Invisible Ones, Voices of the Missing. You can find the complete docuseries at WVON.com. Thank you to Delvin Randall, Al Greer, Titus Williams, and Todd Roskowski for audio production. The Invisible Ones is an exclusive feature of Midway Broadcasting Corporation. This program cannot be rebroadcast, reproduced, or duplicated without the express written permission of this company.